Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there. Welcome to New Life Live. Steve Arterburn here. Really glad that you're with us here today. And joining me, Dr. Sheri Keffer. Intimate Deception is the title of the book that she has written. It's a good one. Hi, Sheri. Good to see you.
Great to be here today with you.
And Chris Williams. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. And Chris, of course, is part of our emotional freedom team. And we're going to be doing that coming up here really soon. I think it's April 30th, if I'm not mistaken. I probably am, but anyway, it's in April. We're going to be doing emotional freedom. Good to see you, Chris, and really thankful that we get to be here. By the way, one of the things that gets us emotionally in prison is bitterness and resentment. And we've got 6 great steps to take, keys to getting rid of bitterness. And you can dig out those roots of bitterness. And, when you think about how many people might be bitter toward you versus just focusing on all the things that you have right to be bitter about, I mean, maybe that changes the focus. But, the worst thing that happens is you go to somebody, you tell them the problem, and they go, oh, yeah, well, I'd be bitter too. I wouldn't forgive them. And that's just the worst advice ever because it just hurts you. So we want you. I've got 6. You can get this sheet. It's by Dr. Sheri Keffer right here. 6 tips to dig out the roots of bitterness. And, identifying that root. I mean, Sheri, that's where you start. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. But, I'm just looking at this list here. I love how you guys have put this together so simply. We think about how many times we're waiting for that person to own what they've done, to give an apology. We've had, a lot of callers call in and, ask about, do I go to a parent's funeral when they've been mean to me all my life? Like, it can keep us so stuck in our own pain, waiting for that person to finally own something that they've been doing all their life.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
And they'll be 6 feet underground, and we're still in up in arms, and we're still as tight as a rope over what we didn't get and what we're not going to get. Instead of just saying, I can let that go. I know what is true. I know I was hurt deeply. I know they didn't own it. And another point is give it to God. So, some days, you guys, I just say, you know what? I'm really glad that Jesus came as a savior the first time around. But the second time, he's coming as a judge. And it doesn't often, you don't often hear that preached in the church. But the truth is, he's changing hats. He came to save us, but he also is going to be a judge in that time when he comes back. And somehow that helps my heart rest when I think about all the hurt and pain that we hear and we've experienced in our lives, that somehow there's going to be somebody at the throne room that's going to acknowledge the hurt that has happened.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get away with it.
And pain is contagious. Bitterness is contagious. What has happened to us, if we don't transform that, if we don't heal it, we will start acting out of that place and become the bitterness that what happened to us. And so it's so important not to fall into that trap.
And you better ask, who's representing you before that judge? And for me, it's Jesus. He's going to be my advocate.
I know.
And
so glad about that.
because of what he did, he will speak for me before the judge. I'm very happy about that. We'll be back.
it had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, he just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Columbus, Ohio, April 8th to the 10th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
All right, we're back. So glad you're with us here on New Life Live. Let's go to Haley Pierre, South Dakota. Haley, welcome to New Life Live. How can we help today? Hello? Haley. KPGN. Haley. All right, not there. Okay, well, we'll try back in just a bit. How about we talk to Anna, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, WBYN. What a great station that is. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for being there, because I would have been really embarrassed if you weren't. So, thank you. How could we help today?
Yes. I would like to just share a little bit about the situation like this. You will have an idea. I have a nephew who was diagnosed with schizophrenia and depression. Since he was very little, he was being bullied while he was in school, and he never told the parents.
Okay.
Until in one occasion, the bullies took him out of the school because they were classmates and beat him up really badly.
Oh, boy.
And since then, he was very angry, and he couldn't graduate. My sister didn't know what to do. She took it to the doctors, and the doctor said that he was schizophrenic and that he has depression. I personally believe that, I don't know, I don't believe it, but they put him in medication, and you can see the transformation of this child now, that he's not the same anymore. He always like a kind of zombie type of thing. He tried to kill himself.
Oh, boy.
Drinking all the medications. And he always talk about what happens to him when he was younger.
Okay. So to ask a question, because I think we know the problem here, what's really there. What's the question?
My question is, because he's very close to me, because I saw him born and babysitting and took it to church. I'm the only Christian in my family. And for me, I send him books, Christian books about psychologists and this and the other. I'm just trying to help him, but it's very difficult, and I don't know what else to do.
All right. Well, I think with what he's been through, reading isn't going to get him the healing that he deserves. Sheri, you want to pick it up from here?
Yeah. Hey, I am so grateful that you are such an amazing aunt and that you have taken a personal, your heart is just opened to your nephew. You know, schizophrenia, I worked with Dr. Amen for 5 years, and I have had clients that have schizophrenia, and it really is a real deal. It is an issue of the brain first. It's a chemical imbalance in the brain. And I love the fact, it sounds like he's been diagnosed, so I, want to trust the doctor that's diagnosed him. But that's why when he went on the medication, why he changed so quickly. Because the brain doesn't have the capacity to figure out and fire and talk, and it's a very scared, overwhelmed brain. And but when it gets the medication, all of a sudden, that person comes back to life. It's crazy. I saw people come back to life within 3 to 4 weeks being on the right medication if they truly had schizophrenia. So the thing that I'm recommending, I'm going to build on what Steve just said, is books are good. Deep therapy around his bullying is better. And there's so much work to do. And now that his brain is working well, he probably would be a great candidate for something.
He's like a zombie. He's not the same child, happy and the way that he used to be. Like the medication, he's like a zombie. He's like I don't even know how to explain it to you.
Okay, so what that is over medication.
Yeah. Wrong dose or wrong medication
it's
to treat
over
the problem.
medication. It can be simply repaired. It's just too much. I learned that from working with, again, Dr. Amen and all the psychiatrists there. There's a lovely chemistry to what our brain needs. And when I saw people come in where there was too much, they were dopey. They weren't connecting to themselves. But medication changes can happen so that he can feel more of himself. Even people with schizophrenia don't have to look dopey. I know. I've seen them on doses of something like a risperidol or something like that. They come back to life and they feel like they used to feel before they went into their schizophrenic break.
Well, here's the thing. I hope you'll listen real carefully about this.
Yes.
Medication at the right dose, right medication for schizophrenia, many folks can function better with that medication in the right dose than people with other things that need medication. So here's the thing. You have to figure out, if the medication produces an adverse effect, you have to ask, well, what is he schizophrenic, or is he experiencing what anybody would experience when traumatized so horrifically by these bullies that beat him up so badly? I think he needs the trauma treated first, then see what the diagnosis is, and then don't put him on this medication. You try a different medication. Chris, you have a thought here?
Yeah, just to affirm that, this really does take a team approach. And that team would be a really good psychiatrist that does get what we call the therapeutic dose. It sounds like he's in a state of catatonia, like catatonic, walking around what we used to unfortunately call the Thorazine shuffle. And that's an over-medicated person. But to your point, Sheri, is we really do need to have a greater understanding of what the impact of his trauma is on his mental state, because it may not be one or the other. It could be a combination of all of the above.
Yeah.
And because of all of the above, we need a really, really good team approach here.
What does your sister, his mom, say about him being over-medicated? You know, sometimes moms don't know what a healthy dose of medication looks like, or sometimes they've been so on the other side of somebody being aggressive and, you know, mean or anxious that they're like, okay, well, this is better than what I was in, but he's still not in his sweet spot yet. What is she saying? Oh, well, I guess we may have lost her. But anyway, a team approach includes all the parents and, you know, siblings and all that.
Well, and again, you know, we have to look at the resources available in the area, but go after second, third opinions here.
Yeah.
You know,
agree.
don't stop here, you know, and I'm not here to endorse one thing or another, but just for an example, I would doubt that Pierre, South Dakota, is too big of a drive to get to like the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, something like that. So you just want to explore all the options possible.
Okay, I agree. And again, it needs to work. And just because whatever the medication is, doesn't work, doesn't mean there's no medication or a dose that could work. But you know, when I started having my attention deficit disorder treated, it wasn't like I was going to find the medication that would work forever. We searched, and then the medication that's working 1 year, 2 years later doesn't. And so you have to do something else. And then 7 years later, you're back at the other medication that now works again. It's just a journey. Don't believe that you need to give up just because it did not work in the beginning. Now we have Haley from Pierre, South Dakota. Hi, Haley. How are you today?
Hello, how are you?
Great, and I'm glad that you came back on, and we're very curious as to what is going on in your life today. How could we help?
I caught my husband several times looking at child pornography, and he's a deacon in the church, and I just don't know what to do.
Okay. Did you say anything to him?
I did, yes.
What did you say to him? Okay, what did you say?
I just said, why are you looking at underage girls? And he said nothing, and that was the conversation.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to lay the groundwork for, and then I'll let Sheri and Chris take it from here. What you do next has everything in the world to do with how this ends. If you do nothing, this could end really horribly for him, and even, you could say, a potential victim of him if he finally starts to act out, which does happen sometimes.
Well,
But if you demand that he will get help, that's a whole other ending, and it's kind of going to be up to you. Sheri, Chris, what are you guys thinking?
Haley, who have you told other than us?
I had him into sexual addiction men's groups, and I've also caught him without being naked from the waist down in front of the computer.
Okay, how long ago was this?
1 year ago.
Okay, and when was the last time? Was that the last time you...
Well, I don't know. The door is closed where I cannot see now.
Okay. Haley, this is a tough one. This is a really, really tough one, but it's a very, very serious one. And so, Haley, you have...
I was really afraid to call in today. I'm really scared. I'm even afraid for my life.
You're scared for your life? Is that what you said?
No, I am afraid for my life that if I were to expose him, what would happen to me?
I think there's a bigger fear. And the bigger fear is what would happen to you if you don't. You're carrying around this knowledge and this secret that his behavior is actually illegal, right? And
it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, it's driving you crazy. I want you to hear me. That's
the good news.
It's illegal. Does that make sense? Are you hearing that?
Yeah.
Okay. And as a result of his behavior and his exposure and everything that we're seeing in the church, I'm going to ask of you something that may seem impossible, and I'm going to see if you're able to do this. I'm going to ask that you report his behavior.
Report to whom?
The police.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I will have to grab a bag and move.
Yes. Do you what is the support around you?
I have family that knows nothing about it, but I would move to a place unknown.
For fear of him?
Of my safety, yes.
Okay.
Well,
and you might mention that too to the police.
What about
Haley,
this, guys? What about her going to see a therapist, a PhD, licensed clinical psychologist?
I've done that.
Okay, did you tell them what he's involved with?
I just told them about his sexual addiction.
See, I think if you went to that psychologist and said, my husband is repeatedly, obsessively, compulsively looking at child porn, the psychologist would be required to report that. And that might be an easier path for you than you calling the police directly.
But, Steve, this is the challenge. Chris and I are mandated reporters, and we're having this conversation with Haley right now.
Yeah, right.
So, sweet Haley, it's already started.
Yeah.
We want to help you, but we can't not deal with this today.
Yeah.
You did a very brave thing, and that's
Really
why you're
brave.
scared. But we just can't walk away from this issue and from you.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and I want to say one other thing to Haley. Haley, I think that it would be natural for you to want to see your husband as a pretty normal guy with a little pornography problem. But this is really different. He isn't just a normal guy with a pornography problem. It's really sad. It's sick, and we want him to get help. It's too bad that he didn't get help earlier before it became a problem. And, you know, the possession of child pornography is a horrific crime when you think about the people that are the victims, these children that are being trafficked, photographed, abused while filmed. All of this is involved, and we feel for you. But as they're saying here, they really are required to reach out and report this, and so that everybody gets help and no person is further victimized. Sheri, Chris, anything else you guys want to say here?
Well, Haley, I'm just really proud of you. You did the right thing.
Yes.
You did the absolute right thing. And sometimes the right thing is the hardest thing we can imagine. Right. I want to encourage you, if there is a computer, a device that he's used at home and it's there right now at your home, I want you to confiscate it. I want you to take it to your family's house, take it to a friend's house, because they're going to need to take a look at that. I just, my heart breaks for you. I want you, you know how much shame we feel, and I too am a betrayed partner, but you know how much shame we feel, Haley, about all this? And we just totally want to keep the secret. We don't want, especially he's a deacon, we don't want to let anybody know. And I'm not saying you have to expose this right now to them, but you need a safe place to tell. I think to let your family know why you're leaving the house, that you've discovered some child porn, and that it's a big deal, it's illegal. So they get why you're on the run. They get why you're trying to find a safe place. Is your family safe, Haley? Are they caring people? Would they take you in? Would they support you?
No, they would not.
Okay.
That is the problem. But what I want to say is, the other day I called your office and I left a message, a voicemail.
My
phone
office?
number.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I did.
Okay, so technology at his very best, right? And here you are calling back because for some reason I didn't get that. And that's what I'm happy about. I'm happy. Chris is happy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not happy about what you're in, my dear, but we are glad.
We're happy that action is being taken.
You didn't get discouraged when I didn't call back. You didn't stop. You said, okay, I'm going to call in when Sheri's there. I'm going to call and Chris has been here. We love you. We support you. And this is really painful, horrible, devastating. But
I'm willing to. I called in to have a session with you to tell you everything and to just let it off of my stomach, let it off of my heart.
Well, good
let
for
it off
you.
of my mind.
Yeah, good for you.
I don't care how much it costs. I need to speak with you.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to help you facilitate whatever is possible for your support and your healing. No question about that. So hang on, and we'll do that. And I'm
Precious Haley. Wow.
sorry
I mean,
for what
situation.
you're going
What a
through.
brave thing.
Yeah.
What a brave thing for her to do. And Haley, give me a call.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to Mary from Boston, Massachusetts. Listens to us on Sirius XM satellite radio channel 131, 1 p.m. Eastern. Hi there. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
What in the world could we help you with? Because we'd love to help you.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. My question is, I have a daughter. She's just had a baby in October. She brought up in church all her life. I have a son as well, a wonderful, godly son. My daughter just turned, she just wanted to do her own thing. She struggled with anxiety, depression, and that kind of thing. I didn't really see that at that time. I just seen it as rebellion. She would just, take off a lot of times. We didn't know. In the middle of the night, she would go put, herself out the window, and that'd be true story. So she would do the sheets thing, and then we literally caught her one night. So she was doing these things. So of course she was meeting a boy from school, high school. Very brilliant girl, smart is all smart. I'm telling you, she's just brilliant. But we were having these problems. So of course, I've been married, it'll be 31 years, but my husband always works so much. So it was only me. I had to be the mother, the father, the nurse, the doctor, the everything, the spiritual leader, just everything. We did go to church together, but my husband just, he worked so hard. He's a passive man, loves the Lord, but just could not. I myself, I should say, was very controlling because he never did, so I had to take that control. That's what I thought anyway at that time. I look at it now, I shouldn't have done that.
Well, hold on, and we're going to get to the question right after this. Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live, and Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop. A lot of people are in, you could literally say, in bondage from past trauma that has created an emotional web that they don't understand, and it prevents them from being free. A person that loses their temper regularly is not emotionally free. Someone who has anxiety just to get in the car and leave the house is not emotionally free. And walking around with the shame from childhood or even a bad relationship as an adult, that is not emotional freedom, and we can help you get there.
The New Life Emotional Freedom Online Workshop is Saturday, April 30th. Steve Arterburn, Chris Williams, and Dr. Jackie McHarris will present information on the power of our emotions, procrastination, guilt and shame, and more. And small group leaders will help you process the information you learn. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or register online at newlife.com.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the Life Recovery Bible personal size, the 1-year Life Recovery Prayer Devotional, the New Life Journal, a New Life pen and highlighter, and a New Life zipper tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Really glad that you are back with us here, and we didn't quite have time to hear the question from Mary in Boston. Mary, what is the question for us?
Okay, so the question is, I haven't spoken to my daughter since she recently had a baby 5 months ago. She did have a drug problem. She's clean, and through the program she met this guy. He seems like, I've never met him, to be honest with you, because she's never allowed us to. But anyway, she has a baby. She's clean. My question is, when she had the baby, you know, like this whole process of since February of last year, she was communicating with me, and things were going so well. I mean, the best ever. And then all of a sudden, it started going downhill. She wasn't texting me. She wasn't calling me at all. Really, she ever calls me anyway. It would be a text here and there. So then she completely not text me at all. And then I would message him, because he would never. I've offered him my number numerous times, but he would message me after I would message him saying, how is Destiny? Oh, my gosh, I haven't heard from her. Oh, she's in work. She's okay. That was it. And so...
So you've never asked her? You haven't asked her, is there a problem?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, I've tried.
Okay, so what's the question for us? How can we help?
My question is, I've let go of her. I've let go of communication, totally communication, from November. I said, you know, my heart is so broken, and I can't get rejected anymore. I'm getting rejected, but beyond rejection from her.
Okay.
I've tried everything possible to help her through everything.
Okay. So how can we help you then with that?
What should I do? Should I just let her go and let her wait to her to contact me, or I just, it's like I'm in limbo, like I'm waiting upon God, because you know, when you get rejected over and over, you don't want to even, you're so hurt that you don't want to get rejected anymore. I'm at the point, I don't want to get rejected.
All right, so Mary, let us help you here.
Mary, this is going to be, Mary, I just had a mom and daughter in my office recently, and
I was just what you were talking about, bitterness and resentment, and she's at that point, I believe, from the past. But
let me help.
Like that too.
let me help to try to set a new lens for you. I wanted to say, of course your daughter was sneaking out at night. Of course your daughter was using drugs. Of course she felt prickly and rebellious. You know why?
No.
She didn't experience a daddy's love. Your husband's a workaholic. And listen, I know this is hard to hear, but it's,
you don't know.
But what happened is, because you were a single mom, right? I mean, you weren't a single mom. He was a workaholic. But you had to be everything and control, fixing, teaching, telling, became your way of trying to control what was happening in your home and the overwhelming burden. And so your son learned how to conform and be a good kid to get his needs met. Your daughter has experienced tremendous heartache. She has a hole the size of Texas in her heart. It's a daddy hole. And then her mom, she experienced her mom as being critical, demanding. She didn't feel seen or heard. That's the rejection that she has grown up with. And so what can happen is parents, because of the result of all that, it doesn't feel good. And instead of taking full ownership for the fact that your daughter acted out like she did because of the parenting she got, instead of taking full ownership, what happens is we kind of, I don't know, I think parents can get in their own corner and they can kind of rise up with their own story and then begin to say, you've rejected me. You've hurt me.
Well, nope. I mean, I agree with you 100% on everything you said, but I've taken responsibility. I've told her that. I don't know how many times I said, Destiny, I've taken responsibility.
No. You know what you're doing? You're telling her you've taken responsibility. That's very different. That's very different than this. See if you can hear me.
I have shown her that through her drug addiction, through helping her, trying to listen to her.
But you know what? Mary, you know what you're doing? You're doing exactly what you do with her. You're defending. You're defending.
No,
I sat with this mom in my office and a daughter who behaved in the very same way your daughter did. And I was appealing to this mom. I said, wait, you're defending. You're trying to fix. You're blaming it on her. You're explaining. Don't. Just listen. Listen.
Blame it on her, though. I didn't know what she was going through at that time. I didn't know.
Of course you didn't. You know why? Because you didn't have a relationship. So let me just let me say this. Let me say this, my dear. If I was to do anything to love on your heart, you know what I would do? I'd say, Mary, come hither. Come hither. Let's talk. Let me help you hold your pain. Of the hurt you felt and the disconnect with your daughter. But also, let me help you develop a different lens of empathy for your daughter and why she's rejecting you. She doesn't feel safe, even today. And let me help you learn the language of love to connect with her heart again. Which sounds like this. It doesn't look like triangulating her husband in. That just makes her feel like, you're unsafe. It looks like saying something like, honey, or her first name, because she probably would not respond well to honey. So her first name, I've gone into therapy, and you know what, and actually get into some therapy, and I'm beginning to learn that I wasn't a safe parent for you. I tried to control you rather than listen to you. I hurt your heart. I wasn't safe. I didn't fill up that void for your dad who spent all his days working. I didn't. And you're hurting. You did everything you can do to try to get love you were looking for because you weren't getting it from me.
And I'm telling you all this because I want a second chance. I want you to forgive me. I'm asking for your forgiveness.
I wouldn't go forgiveness. I wouldn't go that road yet because she needs to be heard.
Yeah, so Mary, your goal is not to for your heart to be broken, because your daughter is not rejecting you. Your daughter is rejecting your control, your defensiveness, your desire to change her into your image. And so, but she's not rejecting you. And so, because the real you is getting buried under your fears. The real you is getting buried under that shame that you actually are rejectable. Because when your heart starts breaking for your daughter's actual lived experience, that's when the transformation starts happening of that empathy, because then you will no longer see that your daughter needs stuff done for her. You'll see that your daughter needs someone to be with her in a safe way. That doesn't offer every opinion that comes to mind,
right,
but just says, hey, I'm with you and I'm for you and I'm sorry. And let me know what you need when you need it.
And sometimes as parents, I think sometimes...
Numerous times. I've said that numerous times. And like I said before, when she first started, when she called me, because I didn't know where she was. She left this program. She was clean, though. And then she left, and I had no idea where she went. And then she called me because she was pregnant. And it was just like wonderful. It was beautiful. She would talk to me, and Mama, you taught me all this. And it was just wonderful. And then all of a sudden, it started slowly not going like back to where she was before.
Well, and maybe
that could have been manipulation too, because she was.
I actually think it was her heart. I think she started connecting with you, and she got scared.
There you go.
She started giving herself to you, and she got really scared because she's got a lot of hurt in there. I would say the worst thing you can do right now is make it about you. Make it about your rejection. I can't handle her rejection anymore. The best thing you can do is to get into some work yourself and start unpacking your hurt around what happened to you, but start learning how to develop the language of love. So when you do connect again, there can be more safe conversations about ownership of what happened to her.
Yeah. When we come back, more about what happens when you feel like you're doing the right thing, not working.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Columbus, Ohio, April 8th to the 10th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back in on another program with you guys. I was talking about moms who think everything's great with your daughter. You just think there's this close bond. Sometimes, you're just not getting the full picture. And it's important that you're willing to do this amazing thing called listening.
I would love, Mary, I'd love us to send you the book, How We Love. In that book, there's a chapter on something that Milo and Kay called the comfort circle. And the step 3 is empathy. Step 3 is learning how to listen and stay out of defensiveness. And I think it just would be a really good book for you personally, even to explore your own background as well as explore what's going on. And you may want to also pick up the book, How We Love Our Kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very, very good. All right. Glad that you called. And, we're doing this parenting seminar. We've got things online. We want to help parents, especially parents of adult children. It just seems like now more than any time in the history of our ministry, we're just having adult children problems, and we want to help you with it. Speaking of an adult child, Larry Sonnenberg is in the studio. Larry, what do you have for us here today?
Well, Steve, I've got a really good testimony, and I've got a good testimony. I'm going to read the short one because you got calls waiting, and I want you to get to it. So this is a gentleman that said he went to Every Man's Battle Workshop, and it's given me hope for lasting victory. The way the battle plan is presented really made sense to me. Each part of the plan was simple and easy, so I felt like I could do the work that needs to be done. I'm excited to be going home and moving forward. Don't get a lot of guys that feel that excited about going home because they're scared when they go home.
Right. Yeah.
But I just want to encourage guys. We're coming to Columbus, Ohio, April the 8th. That's right around the corner, and you need to be there. And you can drive there from the Midwest. You can fly there from anywhere in the country. But go, guys. You need the help, and the thing that will help you, it will help your neighborhood, your family, your church, and our country is to be a man of God that takes responsibility for things and becomes the great husband and father that God's called you to be.
Larry, we had this call from the woman whose deacon or minister husband is looking at child pornography. And you'll remember when we got the call from a speaker that everybody knew, and he had gone to a child pornography site. Mm-hmm. He says it wasn't something he had ever done before. He just did it one time, and here came this FBI notice that he was going to be contacted and arrested. They knew who he was. Suicidal.
Yeah.
And we helped him, and he's let us know on a regular basis he's doing great.
Right.
But how many men are just humming along thinking, yeah, I'm not ever going to have a problem. I'm not ever going to sink to a certain level. And then it happens. And I'm just saying to you, on this side of being caught, come in and let us help you. Please let us help you. That's all I can say. Anything else you want to say, Larry?
No, I ditto. And if you can help us financially, make a gift of support. We'll use it for good.
We absolutely will. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Well, our final caller here, Larry rushed things up so we could get to one last caller, Susan, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, listens on the podcast. Hi there. How are you today?
I've been better.
Well, Susan, what's happening? Sure. How can we help?
Okay, well, I've written down some notes because I'm having a hard time keeping two thoughts in my mind at the same time. So,
okay.
We have a son who's in his early 30s. He's going through divorce. And the beginning of February, he called my husband and I and told us that he's bisexual and felt he owed it to himself to explore a relationship with a man.
Uh-huh.
He found someone rather quickly, and this man is also awaiting a divorce from his husband. Our son and his new partner, he says, are extremely happy. They live 13 hours from us, so we haven't seen him since he told us.
Okay.
We invited him home for Easter and said he could bring his partner. Of course, they'd be in separate rooms. But he said until he knows for sure that we 100% accept and affirm them, he is not going to bring his partner to a unknown situation.
Okay.
His sister told him that she loves him regardless of anything. And he says when she says regardless, that makes him feel like he's doing something wrong. He's been raised in a Christian home his whole life.
So you're wanting some. Okay, hold on. I think you're wanting some advice on what to do now, right?
Yeah. How do we show him acceptance and affirmation that what he's doing is okay? We can't
hold on.
what he's doing is okay.
I want to help you, and I'm almost out of time.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm going to tell you would be very difficult, I think, for most people to do. When he says, until you fully accept me and all that I'm doing, I don't want to be in your home.
Mm-hmm.
There are some parents who would say, until you fully accept us and the things that we believe and have stood for all our lives, we don't want you in our home. You see, he wants to be accepted with his values, and he's asking you, who have had a value that people that aren't married, people of opposite sex aren't married, they can't spend the night in your home in the same bed. That's nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
And he's rejecting
He'd be okay
the
with that.
value
He'd understand
that you
that.
have. But a bigger question is, what is the path, if there is a path, to his heart, to trying to have a relationship of some sort of value with him? Chris and Sheri, what do you guys think is the answer to that? Because it's going beyond who spends the night with whom and where.
Well, I think it's ongoing conversation and trying to open up the lines of conversation through empathy and understanding. But I want to start with a principle, and that is the principle of acceptance, because I think it's really, really confusing. Acceptance does not equal agreement. I can accept something as a reality, but not agree with the value that's behind it. So I can accept somebody, but not agree with their lifestyle or with their choices. But then, can we be in relationship with differences? Because if we can't, all of our relationships will be superficial regardless, because we all have differences. And so it's continuing to open up and being like, it's not a mystery of where you guys stand on this issue. And there are lives impacted. Divorce is not a neutral act. Relationships are not a neutral act. So being able to talk through impact is really important. Unfortunately, it sounds like he is in a defense mode where he's not yet willing to do that.
Yeah, and I hear the demand he's making on you. I mean, think about it. There are two different units that are blowing up right now. There is a gay partnership that's blowing up, and there is a marriage of your daughter-in-law that's blowing up. So he's polarized right now because there's a lot of pain. I just want to say it's a long game with him. Like, I also want to say, don't panic. Don't panic. Let him have his space, because there's so much going on right now. And the more you grovel, the more you feel like, no, don't. It's basically you're playing into the polarization.
So rather than say what I said, you might say, well, I can sure see why you would feel that way.
Yeah.
And then,
right? Holding space for it. It's like, hey, I love you. I love you. I'm going to be here.
Yeah. If you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Lose It for Life's this weekend. Come join us. Thanks, Sheri.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.